At Personal English, we do believe that the learning is 50% cognitive skills and 50% psychology. As smart, talented, and gifted as you may be, smartness will get you nowhere if you don't believe you are actually smart, talented, and gifted. So motivation is key in teaching, and it becomes even more crucial when a learner feels confronted with obstacles and difficulties. These obstacles are unavoidable in language learning, as unlike other subjects, the process of learning a language is not a straight line of increased knowledge, but a zigzag of ups and downs. Starters, beginners, and pre-intermediate learners often experience the Dunning-Kruger effect at the beginning of a course or halfway through it. This means that the initial boost from zero knowledge to little knowledge will give them the impression they know everything there is to know to the language, which is of course a false impression, as they frequently and unknowingly translate literally and may communicate unintelligibly without even realizing it. An example of this: I like the antipast. The sentence makes sense if I can speak Italian, but it's utterly unintelligible if I can't. For a learner, realizing that they have been going through the Dunning-Kruger effect means going through their first doubt. They realize that all the efforts they have made so far have led them to a very limited and inaccurate mastery of the language, which is of course a cause of frustration and self-doubt for them. No matter how many times we at Personal English make sure to explain to students that language learning is a long-term process that requires longer than learning the civil code or an anatomy textbook, they fail to understand it until they get a bruise along the way. And this is the time when the Personal English teacher needs to remind the learner of how language learning actually works, and that yes, this frustration is not only normal and unavoidable, but also a positive sign of improvement. This is just the first of a series of doubts that the learner will be confronted with on their way to improvement. Another typical doubt occurs when a learner realizes they can recognize way more words than they can retrieve from memory and use actively, or that they can understand a lot, but what they produce may be incorrect, inaccurate, or unintelligible. Again, as language coaches, and not just language instructors, at Personal English, we view it as part of our job to make learners more aware of how language learning works and of the fact that active and passive skills, well, they will never match. It's important for them to see that they will always understand more and better than they can produce, even when they reach a C1 or a C2 level. And it's equally important for them to see that comprehending more is in itself a sign of improvement, and that realizing that they make mistakes is actually positive because it shows that they have an objective and realistic stance on reality. They don't make up an inexistent language, Itanglish, by systematically translating Italian into English, and they in time will pick up the procedure they need to correct themselves. When it comes to this last point, the Personal English teacher makes sure to help the learner achieve self-correction by avoiding the systematic correction of every single mistake, but by pointing out the relevant ones and eliciting the learner's self-correction. This is what eventually will make a learner independent in pursuing further progress on their own by using the internet, which is a window on real English and is for free, in a smart way.